Welcome back, ladies and gents. I've not moved from the position that we last left at the last episode. I'm doing a recording session. You'll notice on the floor I've left strewn things that I've taken to refill our bits and bobs. But while we're here in Rhodes, what we've got is a place to pay our bounty off, which will do that. It's only $5. And then this has come up, the stranger mission. So let's do it. Let's go and do it. So in the last episode, we rescued Trelawney from bounty hunters. Cole Stoudemire is now charged. His troop of bounty hunters is charged with finding us and ridding us from this civilized world, inverted commas. So the net's tightening, but
hello again.
We've still got bags of freedom to enjoy.
Got some bills to pay, huh?
That a fact.
He sounds like the guy from, is it Family Guy? Got some Oreos. Okay, Rhodes. Now we can see the time. It really annoys me when it's when you do that and trying to look at the time and it's got the bounty there. But it's 10:47 in the morning. Okay, and across here we'll leave. No, I'll take Lafayette with us. Still got a skunk on there. Should we just sell it to the butcher? Let's just sell it to the butcher because I don't know when we're going to get back to the trapper.
Can I help you?
Sorry, didn't mean to climb on your counter there. Okay. $2.50. It's hardly worth it, is it? I can keep the pelt, but you can have the carcass. Or maybe I had that skunk pelt before. I'm confused.
Thanks, partner.
But anyway, the skunk is gone. Got a skunk in store. Right, before this stranger changes his mind, let's go and see him.
Seems to me ever since them Greys turned up, Johnny got no soul no more.
Let's listen to this guy.
I mean, really, that was unbelievable.
Hey, mister, will you give me some money?
No. Go on then. You get $2.50 for a skunk.
Sure. Well, thank you. Say, where you from?
Around.
Ain't from around here. Yeah, it was you I'd leave. This town lost its goddamn soul a long time ago. Nothing but nasty, miserable people.
Yeah?
Yeah, ever since them Greys moved here, a bunch of no-good white trash. Yeah, they somehow got rich. About 50 years ago, they moved here, caused a whole heap of trouble. Yeah, I reckon they was Yankee spies during the war and everything.
That's so.
Yeah, sure.
Yankee spies during the war? Well, the plot thickens.
Yeah, well, you know.
So, the whole town of Rhodes is run by the Greys, and they hate the Braithwaites. And they're... When did it say they moved here a few decades ago? So I thought they moved here hundreds of years ago. It's a confusing timeline. Hey man. He looks a bit melancholy. What's up? So he's well dressed. He's got like a doctor's bag by him, but he's looking sad. So I'm intrigued what he's got to say. I wonder what his problem is. Let's ask him.
You okay there, mister?
You need me to move?
Move.
Am I sitting in the wrong place?
Excuse me?
I didn't mean any offense, sir. Please.
I don't get your meaning.
I'm very sorry, sir. You have yourself a fine day, and I apologize for any offense I may have inadvertently caused.
What are you drinking, mister?
Nothing, sir. Nothing at all.
Why are you acting so strange?
I don't mean to. I'm sorry for any offense.
How could you have offended me?
I have no idea. But I had no idea how I offended the last fellas. And they stole my wagon on account of my impudence.
Stole your wagon for back check?
They didn't like my medical practice, I suppose.
He's a doctor.
I was helping folk.
And that wasn't popular?
I was undercutting the competition. Or I was too colored. Or I was irritating in nature. Or I was some know-it-all big city slicker here to demean some good old boys of my fine words. The exact variety of my sins was the source of some conjecture, so they undercut me.
That ain't very nice.
That was my impression. Still, compared to the gutting, castration, defenestration, and crucifixion they offered me, I felt I got off lightly.
Imaginative bunch.
Yes,
But
no great love of my medical practice. Too free with my wisdom and services.
which way they go?
Down the road, that away.
Stay here.
I'm sort of forced to. Please, don't go to any trouble on my account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Arthur's got a mixture of...
Were you looking for that fella's wagon?
Come on,
I heard him say they was taking it to McComb's Inn.
McComb's End.
Okay, thanks.
So not everyone...
Okay, girl.
So he kind of cares. He cares what's happened to that guy. He feels sorry for him. So this is a stranger mission that's adding further context. Oh yes! I am so sorry, mate. You get back on, I'll get back on, and we'll just pretend not to be embarrassed.
Away from me! Please, God, no.
I like to do at least one spill per episode. I think that's important. So, yeah, the stranger missions add context on the world and what's going on, and this is we kind of don't need any more indication of what this end of the world is like, but it's ill tolerant of anything but white, and this guy's come into town, wanted to sell his skills as a doctor, but for a number of reasons, according to them, he's not welcome. So Arthur takes up causes as and when he pleases, because if you remember when we came to Clemens Point, we there was a family of German settlers that had lost their father, lost the patriarch of that family group, and we weren't interested. We had a job to do and we wanted to get on, but Charles just told us off basically and said you can't be as ignorant as all that. So what we did is we saved them, we sent them on their merry way, and we got a gold bar out of it. But I just wonder if Arthur has always been like that, or the moral compass of Charles is beginning to put Arthur on the straight and narrow. We've got a gang here with many and varied moral compasses, and Arthur's has got a choice to make. And as the gap widens between them, it looks like Arthur is choosing to be that guy who can drop what he's doing and right or wrong.
Slow it up.
Right. I've not been here before. What's this? Pleasance, founded August 1883. Right, we're going to come back here. I've not had a look around here, although it's marked on the map. It might be marked on the map because we just rode past it, but there's a few buildings to have a look at here. Well, I'll go where they want me to go.
Hey,
Plenty of buildings to have a look at. And if that's a buck, we are in for a serendipitous time of it. No, it's a very rubbish deer. White-tailed deer over there. Well, we've got plenty of deer pelts back at the ranch. If that's a buck, that'll be good news. That is a buck. He's not a good buck, but he is a buck. Has he a friend? I'm not sure bucks tend to be too prevalent in the same group. I think he quite likes loads of chicks to hang around with. There's a buck, but he's no good. Or is that the same one? It's the same one. There's one. There's one. I don't like killing the big animals. Something happens. Something happens in my brain where I get disappointed with myself. Quite happily killing innocent people. But when it comes to these big magnificent beasts,
Easy.
there's a bit of melancholy as soon as I pull that trigger and see it fall. They're so majestic, aren't they? Oh well. But we've got another satchel.
Girl,
I think
won't
it's a,
take long.
I think it's a satchel. Yeah, I think we've got another satchel. It's funny, every time I sort of say, right, I'm going to go on a hunt. Oh, no.
You alright, girl?
No. Every time I want to go on a hunting trip and say, right, I want to get this animal, that animal, it just never happens. It seems to be best to, yeah, you cannot go on a hunting trip, but just don't be fussy about what you're going to get. Or you can just grab it as and when. Don't go galloping through areas on your way to somewhere else. Take a bit of time to have a look around. But this is an area which we've not touched yet. I think we did a mission
Slow up now.
where we found with the moonshiners in this type of area. It might have, in fact, it could have been right here where we are now. Muskrat. Okay, so in this marshy, swampy land, there's going to be different types of beasts. It's another buck.
Easy. Whoa.
Another buck. Oh, well, it's just a deer.
Giddy up.
It's such a beautiful landscape, isn't it? With this sort of vines coming up through the trees. It's amazing, just in this map, in this relatively small map. You know, whenever Rockstar make a game, they do try and compress it, but the biomes that they've got the sort of prairie lands there, and then the Rocky Mountains over here. We've got the alpine areas over here, and then down into the coast where it flattens out, we've got the biggest cities, and over here is sort of prim and proper. And then you get over here, and it's sort of a lot more diversified, and sort of a bit like New Orleans. It's very cool. It's very cool. It just reminds me, all this vine everywhere, it just reminds me of Tomb Raider or Uncharted or something. What we got over there? Sort of smoke going on over there. Okay, our new friend has lost his car, and we think you guys have got it. Do you think we would be more intimidating with a hat? Yeah, let's get our classic raccoon hat on. It doesn't go too well with this outfit, but you'll certainly wonder. You'll certainly know what we're about.
Doctor friend of mine lost his wagon. You all ain't seen it, have you?
Uppity, ain't he? You tell your put a hole.
Whoa! You were talking a minute ago.
Where's the damn?
Okay, right, he needs something a bit more long range. Right, let's take some cover. Oh, that's not much cover, is it? Right. We've got hit more than is healthy. It's a power. Oh no, it's not that powerful. It is when you get them in the neck, though. You're never still alive.
Shit! If you done, boys, I'll go.
Wow. Okay. So I wonder what these guys' deal are. Are they what? So they're a crew? Are they just bandits? Or I mean, they found our friend Uppity and chose to threaten him with all manner of violence and then steal his property, so that they're gonna be, aren't they? They're gonna be outlaws of some description, but they're not Lemoyne Raiders. But they're local ne'er-do-wells all the same. But there's our wagon. And what a wagon! What a wagon! Look at the ponies. I thought they were the Shire horses, but they're just stuck in the mud. Dr. Renault's medicine company. Colds, gout, cholera, dysentery, fever, typhus, smallpox. Proprietor. Travelling doctor. Right, we'd be remiss to not have a look around. There's a card on the jetty here. And some snake oil, I think. Parrots! And a miracle tonic which we can't take. Let's find the tonics. Where's the miracle tonic? That's a potent miracle tonic. Where's a normal miracle tonic? Or is that the same thing? There we go. So let's drink one of those. That's just buffs out our meters rather than our cores. Okay, what we got in here? We got snakes. Commonmouth water snake. So small game arrows. Okay, let's try and get this guy quickly. Fannies. Fannies, fannies, fannies. Where's Lafayette? While we're down here, let's try and find these dudes. I think he's just happily wandering around, so hopefully we'll just be able to shoot him with a quick arrow, small game arrow, and then keep him in our... I think we've only got 2 left. There he is, right, let's get him. He's coming closer. He didn't like that. He didn't like it. I shot it in the head. Let's have a look on its compendium and see if I misread that. I did think it said small game arrows. So cottonmouth snake. No, it's a rattler. A bow with small game arrows can be the best weapon to wound or kill a snake of this size. Their skin can be used for crafting. The meat is edible, though considered stringy. Well, I've wasted a ruddy... There's another one over here. Wounded again. Man! Goodness me. Still just wounded. I think I might have killed him there. Shit myself if I haven't. No, I've yeah, obviously just got him in a headshot. Well done, Lafayette. You didn't have to come in. Okay, so we found the area for the cottonmouth chaps. But before we get in this carriage, we're going to have a good look round. What's this making this noise in here? It won't let me pick it up, that's for sure. It's a catfish or something. I don't know why it won't let me pick it up. I thought this was a snake. And snakes on the brain. I thought that was a snake. Okay. Let's get into looting mode now. So it's pretty desolate place. It's not somewhere they live. They're just kind of hanging out here. It's an abandoned town. I don't know why it's abandoned. It's obviously an old fishing town, maybe? I mean, what do you do on the edge of swamps? Some kind of trade centre? I mean, this is the place where we had that shootout, wasn't it? With the moonshiners. They lived over here. I wonder if they still exist. They're still doing their business over there. Yeah, we've been here before, haven't we? And we've looked around here before. There was a crate here, as I remember, that we couldn't seem to get hold of. Something under there that we needed to... Ah, there we go. Just needed to be a bit more patient with it. Okay. I'm not sure I want to take an apple from there. And chewing tobacco, which we can't take any more of. Don't know why we're doing that. There's absolutely no point because we were full anyway. I did have something to do there, but I've just got early onset, so I've just forgotten what it was. Something to look at, something to do. Oh yes, we got an apple, so let's treat Lafayette to a bit of a hug, bit of a pat, bit of a clean. He's all the way over there. Certainly getting dirty down here. We might need a bath at some point. Ooh. Ooh. What's that? Oh, we've got one of those bad boys. Lafayette's getting lost. Right, well, we'll have to sort you out when we get back, mate.
Okay, come on. Get you back to the doctor.
Lafayette's just lost. He's trying to make his way back here, but he went across the pond there, and he doesn't know his way back. Okay, well, we'll call him back. Hopefully he'll follow us. Okay, so Dr. Renault came down to these lands to ply his trade. This reminds me of Django Unchained. With the dentist, the travelling dentist. Okay, so it's getting dark. We've spent a bit. He's going to wonder if we've done what we said we were going to do. He'll be hanging around there. He'll be hungry.
Coach incoming. Focus your back.
Whoa, 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 whoa!
Leave it alone. What the hell you
Right,
want
let's
with
just
this
go. Let's just go. Go, 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 go.
Son of a whore!
Right. Let's get well.
That all of you? Shit.
It's them Lemoyne Raiders. No, I think they're just strangers. Maybe they were part of the gang, waiting for us as we left. What's happened? Oh, failed because I lost the doctor's wagon. No, I didn't lose the doctor's wagon. I was 100 meters away. Okay.
Yep.
Well, while we're here, let's go have a meal.
Yeah.
Yes. One of my complaints about the game is the main missions. I don't mind a linear experience. I really don't. It's a beautiful open world. When you go into missions, it's a linear experience. I don't mind that. But it's so strict in terms of what you do. You know, if you try and take your time and loot and things like that, especially in a time like that when nothing was pressing. Those guys were dead, there was nothing to do. I just wanted to take my time and think. Loot those guys. But no. Okay, so back into Rhodes at what time? Return the wagon to the doctor in Rhodes. Now, Arthur may be doing this out of benevolence, whereas me, I'm wondering what we'll enjoy as a reward. I mean, we're full to the brim with snake oil and tonics and elixirs.
You know this feller, don't you?
Oh, look who it is. I did not count on seeing that wagon again. Nor you, for that matter.
Only people you won't be seeing are the folks that took it.
I take it they aren't the only ignorant bullying clodhoppers in these parts. But I can live in glorious hope. Now, it wasn't a trouble now, was it?
No, it was a pleasure.
Yeah. Let me give you something for your pleasure. What we got here? How about this? Provide a man a tincture, he'll be well for a day. Teach him to make one, he might be well a while longer.
I'll make sure to try and make this. Thank you.
Thank you. It won't work for anything chronic, but you may not need it to. Well, if you see me on my travels and you're in need of something, make sure you come and say hello.
Travel safe now.
Anything chronic? No good deed. Alright, well let's inspect that document, please. So this is a special health cure. This medicinal tonic features yarrow. Variants were first used by the ancient Greeks. Mace, when mixed and boiled with ginseng, is a great blood purifier and quickly restores full health. It was called life medicine by the Indians, who use it to break fevers and colds, boost health and apply it to wounds. Used as an analgesic, an overall health booster, the Chinese use it in all manner of treatments, including treatment disease of the bowels. Benefits fortifying health: ginseng, yarrow, English mace or milkweed. How to prepare? Carefully mix 2 of each of the herb in a metal cup. Okay, so we're a bit, it's a bit loose and free and easy on which you use. Boil over fire until reduced to a sticky liquid. Place in a glass bottle with a stopper. Administer it as needed to boost health. As you know, for carbuncles or other constitutional disturbances, apply a poultice soaked in laudanum before lancing. Gross. Alright. Well, good. Mission log complete. Well done. Now, let's just wander over to this newspaper seller. I just want to see if it's something we've read or haven't read or will read. Because we bought one.
Line up, Rhodes. Get your papers.
Yes, because he tells you which one you haven't got. And although they're named differently in different towns, when there's a release of a new one, he tells you.
How can I help you?
I did hear that.
Okay. Sandody Times number 46. Carrying none of those. Okay, so this is a new one.
Paper, please.
Bye now.
Very cool. So we've got a paper. Lafayette, where are you?
For Christ's sake.
Clock's ticking, folks. Last call for today's paper.
Where are you, mate? Oh, did you... Where's he gone? Can you see him? Is he back at the... Where's he gone? He's all the way up there, back up there. Because we died, Lafayette was following us. Jesus. Right, are we near a stable? There was a stable around here, wasn't there? Is it over here? There's a stable up there. Oh. Okay. What we'll do... What I'm going to do is I'm going to do some crafting. I think we might have to go a little bit out of town to that. I wonder if we just do it on this hill. Very much doubt it. Can't make a fire, but we can do some random crafting. So it requires a campfire. Okay, let's carry on with that. I'm going to aim for this tree over here. Right, so... No. Let's set up this campfire then. And let's do some crafting. You have no recipes available, but that's just what we got, wasn't it? Why have we got no recipes available? We just received a recipe. Yeah, show all. There we go. So where's the one with the mace? Ginseng arrow. That must be that, the potent health cure. This is it. So we just haven't got any English mace, that's all. A special health cure. So this, show effects. Fully restores health and fortifies greatly. So that's better than a potent health core because it fortifies the health. Oh, that does too. Oh, fortifies moderately. I see. Okay, cool. So that's an even better one. All right, we just haven't got the stuff for it, and I also wanted to craft some small game arrows as well, but we don't have the ingredients for that. What do we need? We need flight feathers, so we need to shoot some birds. Which reminds me, we need to get on a train and shoot some birds from the train so we can continue our challenge. So that might be a good opportunity to do some of that. Shoot a couple and jump off quickly and pick up the feathers. So, I think what we'll do, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I do love reading these papers. Let me know what you think about reading stuff. I think you know by now that I do like to delve in as deep dive into anything that they've got to throw at us. So maybe an opportunity for you to depart if you want to, but this will be the last thing we do. Oh, we're right by the Braithwaite Manor as well. But I'm going to read the paper right now. Let's just read what it says on here. No trespassing, no hunting on this property. Violators will be prosecuted in accordance with the law, because they really stick stringently to the law, don't they? The Sandony Times. Feud at the brink. Bloody shootout between families. Moonshine trafficking suspected, dead and dying in the streets. Roads. News was received here today of a tremendous escalation of the decades-old blood feud between the Greys and the Braithwaites. Two prominent local families who have been arguing since long before the war. The town of Rhodes and its residents were the true victims in a fight between these powerful families. The recent altercation originated in the Rhodes Parlour House, which is owned by the Grey family. Reports say that moonshine or money was the basis of the argument. Shots rang out and the voices screamed, and then bullets sadly hushed them. Once prominent families, the fortunes of the Greys and the Braithwaites, and other once wealthy landowners like them. We've met a couple of those, haven't we? Or the stories of a couple of those. Have been on the wane since the war. The plantation families have been at odds since before the war of the states, claiming some mutual theft of gold or property over a century ago, a motive of which nobody can claim reliability to this day. It's this mythical gold that we can't get a handle on. Does it exist? Doesn't it? Who's got it? No one knows. They're both blaming each other. Reports say the new altercation began when some associates of the Braithwaites entered the Rhodes Parlour House and offered customers plenty of free, untaxed liquor. A prisoner set to hang for a brutal murder escaped. Oh, this is Micah, isn't it? Setting down on the edge of a horrific shootout, the violence erupted in rapid fashion, catching the sheriff and other law enforcement off guard. Tens of lawmen are dead in what is described as the most brazen jailbreak in years. An accomplice surprised lawmen in the normally peaceful town erupted in gunfire. The accomplice of the prisoner escaped during a massive running shootout. The local doctor was so overwhelmed with the dead and wounding that he has not been seen in the town since. A handkerchief said to be worn by one of the robbers was found in the tracks of their escape, with part of a tooth and other evidences of wounding. However, one official said that so many had been involved in pursuing the duo that it could have been one of the many dead that it belonged to. Quincy statue defiled. A dispatch from the Sandony Constable reports that the statue of General Quincy Harris was defaced in a craven act. The hero of the War of Northern Aggression saw the bravest men cut down in front of his eyes at the Battle of Scarlet Meadows in 1864. The word coward appeared on the statue, no doubt placed there by the handful of ill-advised citizens who seek to tarnish the name of a general. The historians agree was a courageous military man. The battle that day was hectic and a scene of carnage, with conflicting accounts soon discredited, and General Harris is remembered as one who never turned coat in the face of adversity. So, a southern battle general, and his statue may still be defaced when we get to Sandony, so that'll be worth looking for. The fastest steamship in the world, expected to arrive within the week. Industrialist and rail magnate Leviticus Cornwall has ordered delivery of the nation's first turbine-powered steamship, a marvel of engineering for the United Kingdom. First unveiled, it could be an Isambard ship. First unveiled as an experimental vessel in 1894, it was then demonstrated as the fastest ship on the water. Now beginning commercial production, the Turbinia class, as it was first christened, is expected to be a private vessel for Mr. Cornwall, built to his exact specs and including a level of opulence and grandeur not before seen on modern sailing vessels. Lawman found dead. Henry Jenkins was veteran of force. Angelo Bronte sends condolences. Foul play suspected. Okay, so we're being introduced to Angelo Bronte, that we'll come into later. Officer Henry Jenkins was found dead last Tuesday of a gunshot to the head in what has been described as an ambush that left the veteran officer slumped forward in his outhouse near the abode that he shared with his wife of 20 years. Jenkins had led an investigation against prominent local businessman Angelo Bronte, 55, who resides in a mansion on Flavian Street. Mr. Bronte has long been a supporter of local constables and law enforcement and frequently appears at local social events celebrating Sandony politicians. Some have accused Bronte of being involved in a syndicate that deals in smuggling and racketeering, Though numerous officials vouch for him as a fine member of the local business community, they say that his Italian heritage is being held against him and that Bronte is of great benefit to the community, contributing to fundraisers for local schools as well as supporting causes to help the infirm and elderly. So, don't investigate gangsters, basically, Officer Henry Jenkins. So Patton, a fifth person slain, Patton identified. Oh yes, so we found one of these way back. Meshes scrawled in blood, worries intensify of plague. Residents of San Diego are living in fear as the ritualistic deaths from years ago have returned. The pattern is the same. Teeth marks like those of a hyena or dog on the body are noticeable. There are messages scrawled next to the body in blood. Some had attributed the deaths to yellow fever, but others cite vampires as the cause. I'm not sure this is related to that serial killer, because he was decapitated, wasn't he? That was up near Valentine. Sanderley lawmen announced years ago they had caught the culprit and indeed did hang Bosco Lopez, who had spent many years living in Argentina before arriving in Sanderley by frigate. Now that the fifth victim has been found, lawmen are expressing caution, indicating that all residents should avoid travelling alone in the evening wherever possible, and keep all residents without locks barricaded overnight. Women are especially advised to show caution, as they are more often than not victims of attack. So news of strange paranormal goings-on, cited as being vampiric. The kings of corsets. Since the wife of Henry II of France enforced a ban on thick waists at court attendance, the corset has remained in high fashion for all who can afford it, using exotic lace and stays and whalebones and metal supports. Much cherished local artisan Algernon Wasp fashioned striking corsets at his world-renowned workshop and greenhouse in the Mansion district of Saint-Denis. I wonder if we can visit him then. His millinery work and corsetry are all the rage among the fashionable members of the higher classes, who prize his use of rare and most delicate materials such as orchids, and egret feathers. So this looks like a gathering mission that we're going to have from him. With a long list of elite and autocratic clients from all around the world, Mr. Wasp's workshop toils into the night to make the waists of aristocrats slimmer and the heads dainty and with finery. He remains an example of Saint-Denis' status as a cultural capital of the world. They have fled. The ex-soldiers, renegades and criminals that loosely comprise the Lemoyne Rangers militia have mostly fled to Texas after repeated clashes with the government and law enforcement, preaching the freer stater anti-government and anti-tax doctrine. Their message soon grew tiresome for a populace that simply wants to move on after the war between the states. Now it says it's moved to Texas. Now, the first game was set in New Austin, and I kind of assumed that was Texas, in the same way that Rockstar, rename New York and rename Los Angeles and Miami for the GTA games. I thought that was the case here. So maybe it was a sub-state of Texas, or just not in Texas at all. I'm not sure how they've geographically done that, because I thought New Orleans. Anyway, yeah, I wonder what they've done there. The scrappy militia has spent the last few years robbing government employees and institutions and regular civilians as well. After some stinging defeats, the Lemoyne Raiders fled to areas of Texas where it is reported their disdain for paying tax or supporting the government is more readily received. Okay, so they're moving on. A massive motif, cliff sculpture and grizzlies. We've not come across any of these yet. Wayfarers in the Grizzlies have reported a massive cliff of a sculpture is underway, courtesy of an yet unknown artist. Oh, okay. Undertaken by a lone man toiling with a hammer and chisel, but rarely seen, he is suspended by hemp rope and works in the beating sun to accomplish his artistic vision of carving a face into a prominent rock face. The project began several weeks ago, according to travellers who say the man has undertaken it in homage to his beloved wife. Cliff sculpture in the Grizzlies. Now, I've completed this game before. This is not a blind playthrough, but much of the Stranger missions are a blind playthrough. I wanted to get the main story into my head before I continued on this main playthrough. So the last mission with Dr. Renard, I'd never seen that before. So this is another one that I think we'll see. Power struggle in Africa at issue. Britain killing scores of Dutch settlers. The struggle for power in Africa continues. The territories of rival European powers are being disputed once more. Great Britain has plunged into a full-scale war against Dutch settlers in southern Africa, known as the Boers. Okay, there's a bit of world law here. Despite the belief that a compromise would be found, hostilities have been commenced to crush the Boers as Great Britain rushes to send men and munitions to southern Africa. Rival European powers accuse Great Britain of threatening legitimate claims to territories controlled by others, and the gold and the diamond mines there that create immense wealth. Also of concern is that the vast and unruly native populations may prove restless, ungrateful and resentful towards their European masters. Well, that's nothing new there. Great Britain have got a fine, vast history of meddling in other nations and in all in the name of power and wealth. Women should keep silence, allowed to sing but not speak in church. The first day's synod of Virginia was spent with devotional exercises led by Reverend Sprigg, speaking on giving the work of God to all people. His committee was tasked last year to study the scriptural position of women in the home and church, and their duties had come to some unsurprising conclusions. Order remains heaven's first law, and its necessities to the due subordination of the rule to the ruler. The subordination of women by divine appointment is sadly ignored and denied by the women's movement. So this is about the suffragettes, isn't it? About their perceived opinion on the uppity women of the age, not knowing their place. What was the name of the suffragette? I can't remember now, that we saw. We're going to bump into. We've read about another one that we're going to bump into in Saint-Denis. But I wonder how much more of this movement we'll hear about or get involved with. The scriptures teach what a woman may do in church, at home or in public. She may sing in mixed-sex devotional services or in meetings of her own sex. Even though we are men of science first and foremost. The natural order of things. And this is a bit more about fishing. The small remote settlements in the swamps of the bayous teeming with fish and wildlife. And you can rent a guide travelling through or angling. There we go. What time is it now? I think we read all night. That's what we did. Okay, folks. So we haven't got Lafayette because we lost her all the way back there. But what we'll do now is we'll call it a day. And I'll catch you the next time on the Dishonorable Adventures of Arthur Morgan.